India can be a big opportunity for a foreign company. Customers may be interested, distributors may be ready, the market may look promising. But before a foreign company opens an office in India, one question matters first. Which India entry structure is right for our business? Should it be a branch office, an Indian subsidiary, or another permitted structure? Because the wrong structure can affect taxation, regulatory compliance, operational flexibility, and the way the foreign parent does business in India. This is where Daniel's story begins. Chapter 1. The Boardroom Question. Daniel Carter was exploring India, expansion for a foreign manufacturing and technology company. The company had strong products, international experience, and growing interest from Indian customers. Indian customers wanted faster support. Distributors wanted closer coordination. Vendors wanted regular communication. And the parent company wanted better control over its India-related activities. For the leadership team, India looked like the next big growth market. One day, Daniel presented an initial India expansion plan in a boardroom meeting. The numbers looked strong. The demand looked real. And everyone agreed that India had long-term potential. But then, the CEO asked a simple question. Daniel, if we decide to establish a presence in India, should we open a branch office or set up an Indian subsidiary? Daniel paused, because this was not simply an office setup question. It was a question about business activities, regulatory requirements, tax, control, and long-term strategy. Daniel knew he needed expert guidance before recommending anything. Chapter 2. Daniel meets an India entry advisor. Daniel consulted an advisor who understood foreign company setup in India. The advisor did not immediately say, open a branch office. Instead, he asked, what exactly do you want the Indian operation to do? Daniel explained. The company wanted to support customers, coordinate with distributors and vendors, provide technical assistance, and undertake India-related business activities. The advisor asked, is the objective only market research? No. Do you want an operating presence? Yes. Will the Indian office undertake commercial activities, consultancy, technical support, import or export, or other business activities? Yes, depending on what is permitted. The advisor nodded. Then a branch office may be one structure worth evaluating. But first, you need to understand both what a branch office can offer and where its limitations lie. That answer surprised Daniel. He had expected a registration process. Instead, he was being asked to understand the business fit first. Chapter 3. What a branch office really means. A branch office is not a separately incorporated Indian company. It is a place of business of the foreign company in India, operating within the activities and conditions permitted under the applicable regulatory framework. That distinction matters. A subsidiary would be incorporated as an Indian company. A branch office, on the other hand, remains connected to the foreign parent. For a foreign company looking to extend its existing business into India, that direct connection can be an advantage. But it also means the branch office cannot simply undertake every activity that the foreign parent carries out globally. Its activities must fall within the applicable regulatory permissions. The advisor told Daniel, so the question isn't whether a branch office is good or bad. The question is whether it fits what your company actually wants to do in India. Daniel started to see the decision differently. Chapter 4. Why a branch office can be attractive. The advisor then explained why a branch office can make sense for certain foreign companies. First, it can provide a formal business presence in India without incorporating a separate Indian company. Second, it allows the foreign company to maintain a direct connection between the Indian operation and the overseas parent. Third, subject to the applicable regulatory framework, a branch office can undertake specified activities such as import and export of goods, consultancy or professional services, certain research activities, and technical support, among other permitted activities. For Daniel's company, this could mean closer coordination with customers, distributors, and business partners. It could also allow the parent company to establish a more structured presence in India while continuing to operate as part of the foreign organization. Daniel asked, so a branch office could actually be a good fit for us? The advisor replied, "It could be, if your proposed activities fit within the permitted framework and the structure aligns with your long-term India strategy." Daniel was beginning to see the advantage, but there was another side to the decision. Chapter 5. The limitations Daniel needed to understand. Daniel asked, if a branch office has these advantages, why wouldn't every foreign company choose one? The advisor replied, because the same structure that works well for one business may not work for another. The first consideration was the scope of activities. A branch office cannot simply conduct unrestricted business in India. The proposed activities must be examined against the applicable regulatory framework and permissions. For example, a foreign company planning, manufacturing or processing activities in India should not assume that a conventional branch office structure will automatically accommodate those operations. The specific business model and applicable framework need to be examined. Daniel made a note. Understand the activities before applying. The advisor nodded. Exactly. The second consideration was the entity itself. Because a branch office is not a separate Indian incorporated company, it remains closely connected to the foreign parent. This also becomes important if a contractual or commercial dispute arises in India. If the branch office becomes involved in a dispute with a customer, vendor, employee, or other business counterparty, the matter cannot necessarily be viewed in the same way as a dispute involving an entirely separate Indian company. The foreign parent may need to be involved in addressing the matter, depending on the nature of the dispute, the contractual arrangements, and the applicable law. That direct connection is one of the advantages of a branch office, but it is also something the parent company needs to factor into its risk and governance decisions. Chapter 6. Then came the tax question. The CEO's next question was predictable. What about taxation? Daniel raised the issue with the advisor. The advisor explained, a branch office is a presence of a foreign company in India. Therefore, its Indian tax position needs to be evaluated under the provisions applicable to foreign companies, along with the nature of its activities and income, and, where relevant, the applicable tax treaty. From fiscal year 2025 to 26 and onwards, the Income Tax Department lists 35% as the rate for any other income of a foreign company. But the advisor immediately added, don't choose the structure simply by comparing headline tax rates. The actual analysis may involve the nature and attribution of income, treaty provisions, withholding tax, transfer pricing, where applicable, and other direct and indirect tax considerations. Daniel realized that the question was not simply, how much tax will we pay? It was, what will this India entry structure mean for our overall tax position? Chapter 7. The compliance doesn't end with registration. Daniel then asked, once the branch office is established, are we done? The advisor replied, no. Registration is only the beginning. A branch office has ongoing regulatory, tax, accounting, banking, and reporting requirements in India. The foreign company needs to maintain appropriate records, comply with applicable tax requirements, and meet relevant regulatory reporting obligations. Daniel realized that opening the office was only one part of the process. The company also had to consider how the branch office would operate after approval. Chapter 8. Branch office or subsidiary? Daniel returned to the original question. So, when should a company choose a branch office instead of a subsidiary? The advisor answered, there is no universal answer. A branch office may be suitable where a foreign company wants a formal Indian presence, wants to remain directly connected with the parent, and its proposed activities fit within the applicable branch office framework. But if the company wants to build a separately incorporated Indian business with a broader operating model, or if its proposed activities do not fit within the branch office framework, an Indian subsidiary may need to be evaluated. The advisor summarized it simply. Don't choose the structure first and then design the business around it. Understand the business first and then choose the structure that fits. That was the answer Daniel had been looking for. Chapter 9. Daniel returns to the boardroom. Daniel returned to the leadership team. The CEO asked, so, Daniel, are we opening a branch office? This time, Daniel did not give a quick yes. He said, a branch office could be the right structure for us, but we should first validate a few things. What exactly will we do in India? Do those activities fall within the permitted framework? What are the tax and compliance implications? And does a branch office make more sense for our long-term strategy than an Indian subsidiary or another permitted structure? The leadership team understood the difference. They were no longer asking only, how fast can we enter India? They were asking, how should we enter India correctly? For Daniel, that was the real decision. Chapter 10. Daniel's real lesson. Daniel learned that a branch office is neither inherently good nor bad. It depends on the business. It can offer a formal presence in India and allow specified permitted activities while maintaining a direct connection with the foreign parent. But that same structure brings considerations around permitted activities, taxation, parent company exposure, disputes, and ongoing compliance. So the real question is not, is a branch office the best structure? It is a branch office the right structure for this particular business? Chapter 11. How SKMC Global can help. Just like Daniel, many foreign companies know that India represents an opportunity, but are unsure about the right entry structure. At SKMC Global, we believe the process should not begin with the registration form. It should begin with understanding the business. We help foreign companies evaluate their proposed India activities, assess the suitability of a branch office, understand the regulatory and tax implications, evaluate alternative structures where relevant, plan the setup and address the applicable ongoing compliance requirements. Because entering India is not simply about establishing an office. It is about establishing the right structure for the business you want to build in India. So if your foreign company is planning to enter India, support customers, coordinate with distributors, or establish a formal business presence, make sure your India entry structure is evaluated carefully from the beginning. Start with the business model, then choose the structure. Then build your India presence. SKMC Global can help you navigate that decision with clarity.